Hello there. I wanted to do this one for a little while. It's about taxi licensing, so obviously it's relevant to me. I drive a taxi, and my concern how councils award them to people, and of course this correlates to grooming gang scandals where taxi drivers seem to be playing a prominent role. Not in every case, and obviously not all of them are, and I would like to say for the record, clearly the majority of immigrant taxi drivers are good people. It's a very, very few, but it seems to be enough to warrant this video. So I'm going to highlight a few facts and figures, things that I found out. I've done a little bit of research. I'm reading from some notes, and something that might encourage councils to do their jobs a little bit better. So, in order to get a taxi licence, you have to have a UK driving licence for 12 months before you can get that licence, okay? So there is, and that's a government enforced restriction on licensing. After that, if you go on any local authority, they all pretty much say the same thing. Criminal records check, a driving licence, obviously, some suitability tests, knowledge exams. So it all seems pretty good, right? But you do have to wonder, how many times have you been in a taxi where the person driving it hasn't got a clue where they are, where they're going, or barely speak English and stuff? So you start to think, how do they get the licence? Right? So one of the things that concerns me, and again I'm open to be corrected if I'm wrong, the CRB, the Criminal Records Bureau, I think that's what it stands for people to enter the country with a visa, they have to have this criminal records check, but it's done from the country where they're from. And are there strict standards in those countries? I'm not accusing any other countries of it, but there seems to be far less control. I would like any immigrant coming to this country have to be in a country for a minimum of 3 years, so a proper Criminal Records Bureau check, a CRB check, can be done on that person for the last 3 years, and hopefully that might separate a few dodgy guys from getting a licence and being a danger to the British public. But yeah, so the Criminal Records check, they can get it done from the country where they're from, and I disagree with that. Driver gossip. Us taxi drivers, when we're standing around chatting, it does seem that there's no founding in this, just gossip, that some local authorities may be a little bit easier to obtain a licence from than others, and that's where you have people applying for licences in councils from where they don't live. That's telling, right? Lower standards for knowledge, clearly, or the CRB, perhaps, suitability. I think all councils should be doing far more spot checking. I'll go into that later on. So other negatives from this, obviously there's a lot of drivers that barely speak English, and it's any immigrants. I mean, I'm marrying a Polish lady, but there are probably plenty of Polish drivers out there. They got a license and they can't speak English. They don't know where they're going. So that's a very negative thing. Highlight the massive exception to the rule is the London black cabbies, who I believe are really suffering over the last few years. Those guys, their knowledge is unbelievable. The level, it's like taking a degree, really. Their knowledge, they train for years, and to memorise the road networks, it actually changes the brain. According to scientists, you can actually see a difference in how some of the vortexes in the brain behave on a London cabbie to other people. They're quite phenomenal, and I think they're integral as a part of London's history. I don't have the same affection for Hackney carriage licences from anywhere else in the country. I think the London black cabbie is something we need to hold on to. I had a passenger a while ago. His job was getting migrants into work, and I said, "Oh, what's the line of work?" And he went, "Taxi." So they really are focusing on that. Okay, so that, that I know that for now. I'm convinced that that is one of the immediate areas that the migrants will look for. So some advice to women using taxis: don't travel alone if you can help it. Okay, and get out with your friends. You know, don't and then arrange some other way to get home. Please don't, you know, do that last bit on your own. But if you do need to travel on your own in a taxi, I urge you to ask the driver to show you his license so you can verify that it's him on his license, because quite often it's just a borrowed license. This is my speculation. I've got no proof of that, but you know, we know. I'll see the license, take a photo of it. If a lady did that with me, I wouldn't be in the slightest bit offended, I assure you. Okay, get on your phone the minute you're in the taxi, even if you're pretending to have a phone conversation. Say, you know, I'm just on the high street, I'll be home in 10 minutes, something like that. Just keep talking on the phone. If there is a driver that is, you know, up to no good, got some bad intentions, that's going to help put him off a bit. Okay, if he thinks you're talking to someone and it's traceable where you were, etc., there's some comeback on them. I actually sometimes feel awkward when I've got a single lady passenger, and I actually quite like it when they get on their phone. It puts me at ease. It's sort of like, I think they're more comfortable then. It's weird that I'd feel awkward, but you just do nowadays, this current age. You know, there's so much suspicion around. There's a Telford taxi company which has drivers working for them that were involved in this Telford grooming scandal. They've now, there was an article, I've lost the article, I couldn't find it again, where they are offering passengers white drivers. So it's like direct racism really against non-white drivers, but it's because that passengers are concerned. You know, this is a real concern now, you know, because they were directly linked. They had drivers working for them that were in grooming scandals. And actually, you can't necessarily blame the taxi operator, the company. I blame the council that gave these people their licence. The Rochdale scandal. 6 out of the, I think, 9 people convicted were taxi drivers. Mohammed Amin, Abdul Qayyam, Adil Khan, Abdul Aziz, Abir Ahmed, all taxi drivers. There was Hamid Safi, who's an illegal immigrant from Turkey, and there was a couple of other guys that had other jobs. But that's concerning, right? I mean, that is concerning. That's actually part of the grooming organisation. Taxis are brilliant for it. You've actually got taxi drivers that are there and they're using the taxi deliberately for the purposes of transporting vulnerable girls from homes to wherever, businesses, wherever they can be gang raped and sold out and prostituted and drugged and abused and raped and murdered and tortured. That's sickening. Reading on the Oxford scandal, there was a chap who said there was a difference between the Oxford scandal and the Rochdale, and he said because there was the Rochdale one was all about taxi drivers, so the Oxford wasn't, but there were still taxi drivers involved in it, taking these victims around. I haven't been able to research all scandals, I'm not that good at it, but there's another scandal coming to a town near you, and if you live by a mosque, potentially the town where you live. Uber driver, what's his name? Oh, I can't say it. Muhsinath Chowdhury. This is the guy that had a sword in the back of his car and he wanted to chop up the Queen. He thought he was going to Windsor Castle and he ended up going to Buckingham Palace, and then he injured 3 coppers that had to tackle him. I think he was going to try to cut off someone's head. Who gave him his licence? Should councils risk being considered racist in order to not risk potentially putting people at risk? I say yes, but I say they won't do it. I am more than happy to be checked more and more and more. My local authority, they make me jump through hoops to get my licence, and I'm more than happy to jump through those hoops. I could do the exercise, right? Fat git, aren't I? So the spot checking, this is what I think needs to be done, because there's a big suspicion that you get in a cab, you have no idea if the person driving that cab is the person on the licence, either on this have the taxi licence or the car is licensed as well. Really, you have no idea. The councils, I think some of them do, but clearly not enough. they need to go around on a regular basis checking. Make all the drivers know that there's a very good chance that once a week someone's going to ask to check their plate and their badge, and you need to do it in the middle of the night as well as in the middle of the afternoon. Councillors, this is down to you. In order to make councils do this, the government should in future make it very, very clear to councils there will be hefty fines if criminal activity has been carried out by taxi drivers. Now, I don't mean you've got a taxi driver who then commits fraud somewhere. That's unfair. But if they're actually using the taxi for the purposes of the criminal enterprise, then those councils should be fined heavily. And I believe that will make those councils care a lot more about spot checking. So those are my views on it. Please chip in. And oh, by the way, I work with quite a few Muslim taxi drivers. They're lovely guys, really, really nice guys. I thoroughly enjoy having a conversation with them. I wouldn't have this conversation with them. I think they might hate me a little bit, but they're really, really good guys. I don't want people just to not trust taxi drivers, but just be wary. Okay, be aware, and it's not just brown-skinned taxi drivers. There are plenty of white taxi drivers out there that seem perfectly normal and are using it's a job where you've got more potential to be one-on-one with vulnerable drunk women or young women on their own, and they need to be more afraid. That they need to think that there's a good chance that they're going to get caught out at some stage. Anyway, those are my views. If you like this one, give us a thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you very much. Goodbye.